Right.
Okay, guys, we're back tonight. Do I have any questions about what we went over last night? Numbers?
No.
None?
I'm ready next week.
Wow. That's good. I think. Maybe not. I don't know. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about automatic punctuation. All right. So with Eclipse, the first letter of a word is a magic spot for total eclipse, okay? So if you move left or right by a word, or if you've used hyperkey, you can use the arrows too. To look for punctuation, you'll notice the cursor stops on the first letter of the word, okay? So whenever your cursor is on the first letter of a word, and you press the punctuation key, Total Eclipse automatically adjusts the capitalization. So it already knows what to do. You don't have to do anything, okay? So let's just say you're in hyperkeys, and you're right here, and there's a comma. You see that there's a comma right here, right? Does everyone see that?
Yeah.
So if you just push period, see what it does? It already knows what to do. It puts the period, space, space, cap next. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is put the punctuation, and it knows what to do. So let's say you want to put the comma. You just hit comma, and it takes it back. It takes it back from cap to small, puts the comma where it needs to be. So you don't have to space over right here, you know, come over, space, space, comma where it's supposed to be. You don't have to. If you're on the word before you need the punctuation, it knows what to do. Okay? So let's just say they say, well, my question is this, colon. It already knows what to do. Puts the colon in there, space, cap next, ready to go. You don't have to worry about what it does. Or, man, is it 2 spaces? Is it 3 spaces? 1 space? Cap next? What? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
It worked without the hyperkey pressed. It worked without the hyperkey.
It does? Yeah, you can turn those lights off yourself.
Period.
Just period?
Even better.
Is it just in the tutorial that it does that, or does it actually do that?
It does it when you're your documents.
I didn't have to press the hyperkey and it worked.
Well, that's good. I mean, you know, if you're not I mean, you're going to be in hyperkeys anyway. But, you know, if you're not, I've never tried to use it out of hyperkeys. Maybe it does work. I have no idea. Are you in the tutorial, or are you in? Okay.
It does.
So-
That's how I used to do it before hyperkey.
I'm sorry?
You're not hyperkey.
Yeah, and it's working here. But I was in hyperkey before.
Oh.
But, you know, my lovely assistant said that it worked without, so I tried it without, and it works without. Now, whether it just does it in the tutorial, there's some crazy things that it'll do here or not do here in the tutorial, and it won't do or does do in your transcript. So be careful with that. But I'd say 99% of the time you're going to be in hyperkeys anyway. So unless you're inserting something or whatever, you know, okay?
Thank you.
So it's just telling you right here, you'll notice that Eclipse wants to add the punctuation before. Really, it's after, but it's before, is what they say, rather than after the word you're on. That makes sense because you often do not realize punctuation is necessary until after you've just read past the point. So really, I mean, what they mean by before is behind. You know, because you're already in front, you need it behind it. Oh, I need a comma right there. You don't have to control, space over, or shift, you know, J or L to move one character over. It's automatically going to do it. Okay? As long as you're on the first character of that next word, of the word in front of it. So you can't come in here So you can't be right here, be in hyperkeys, and say, oh, you know what, I need it right here by sense, or whatever, and then you hit comma, guess what it's going to do? It's going to put it wherever you have it. So you have to be on the first letter of that word that's in front of it where you need it. Does that make sense? Everyone? All right. So you can even do it with a question mark. So shift, question mark, and it does it too. Okay? So whatever you need. So it'll work with any of these. Period, comma, question mark, colon, any of those. Okay? And that's what it's telling you.
The first letter of a word is a magic spot where Eclipse anticipates your needs, like the need to throw in a dash. So when you need a fast dash, just press the hyphen keys. And on the less frequent occasions when you do need a hyphen, just press the shift and hyphen keys together. I need dashes where you see the blue arrow. So I'll place my cursor on the beginning of this word and press the hyphen, and then move over, hyphen.
You see what it's doing? So when you do the hyphen, it's going to put dashes. Okay? So when you need a dash, I think you have to do the shift. The shift for a dash.
Shift dash.
But if you do it, so it's kind of the same thing. So if you put your cursor right here on that, on the T on that, and you hit the dash, it's going to put, on the hyphen, it's going to put dashes. Okay?
So if you want just one little line, hyphen, like between a word, two words, like first degree, then you'd have to put shift hyphen? Or is it the other way around? Because isn't it saying here that if you want to add a dash, you just hit hyphen?
Hyphen.
So
But you have to be on the word preceding. After.
Yeah, it is shift hyphen.
I'm sorry?
it's shift hyphen that makes the dashes?
No,
It's going to tell you.
Okay.
hyphen between.
The way that I do it
preceding.
may be different. And I may be doing it the wrong
Yeah,
way.
or like first degree.
And each time, it only took one key to insert those dashes. I want to insert hyphens where you see the purple arrows. So I placed my cursor on the beginning of this word and I'll press shift hyphen.
Okay.
See how the cursor moved over?
And see how it does it? So when you do the shift, then it'll do it. But there's actually a pretty neat way of doing it, and I think they're probably getting ready to tell you. If not, then I'm going to show you how to do it. But
Shift hyphen, shift hyphen. Let me replay that for you so that you can see how quickly Eclipse can hyphenate a phrase for you. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And these are just two ways in which the automatic punctuation features can make your editing more efficient.
so you don't even have to move your cursor. All you do is push shift hyphen and it moves to the next word. So shift hyphen, shift hyphen, shift hyphen. You don't even have to move anything. Okay? But there's actually a way that if you mark it, if you mark those 4 words and you do the shift hyphen, it should do it too.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's actually a pretty neat thing too. Welcome. Turn that light off. Okay, so
Or not.
or turn them all on. So that's one way of doing it, okay? So you don't have to keep, you know, backspace, hyphen, go to the next word, backspace, hyphen. All you do is the shift hyphen. But if you're on the word before, so say you need dashes right here, in between often and more, okay? And you come over here and you put it on the E because you think it needs to go before or after it, it's not going to do it. It puts the punctuation behind. So if you need the dashes behind, you have to be right here on the O, and it's going to put it in between more and often. Okay?
That put dashes.
So if you have punctuation there, say you have this comma right here, and you want to take it out, all you have to do is come right here, push backspace, and it takes it out. So you don't have to arrow over, get right behind it, and then backspace. Get on the word that's right in front of the punctuation that you need to, and backspace, and it takes it out. Okay? Or you can push S. S is what in hyperkeys?
This is the cap. Wait.
Shave.
Oh yeah, shave.
So what it's going to do is it shaves off the next stroke. So you can also do S. Instead of taking your hands off and pushing backspace, you just do the S and it'll shave it off too. Okay? And you already know about the P and Q. Okay? So you can be anywhere in that sentence. And let's just say it starts right here and it ends right here. There's not a period right there. This is one run-on sentence. You can be right here and push the P and it still puts the period right there. You can be anywhere in that sentence to do that. Now you can't do that with the period, just the regular period. You all understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know what I'm,
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm explaining it right. You have to use the P. The P for period puts the period at the end of the sentence.
Whichever sentence you're on.
Yeah, but you can't be, and you can be anywhere in the middle of that sentence, and you can do it. But you can't use the period, and it doesn't. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because it'll put the period before it.
The period has to be on the word before where you need it. Okay?
Let's see some of the choices that Eclipse AutoMagic offers relating to punctuation. Words like yes or no are often the start of a paragraph, or perhaps they require some punctuation right before them. AutoMagic makes it easy to insert any paragraph type, or if I press 1, I'll see that Eclipse would insert the appropriate punctuation mark. Although in this case, AutoMagic would involve one extra step, the goal is to teach a new user that with your cursor on the first character of a word, Eclipse is ready to insert punctuation for you without requiring several cursor movements or the deletion of some other punctuation before you can insert the new one. If I do insert a comma here, AutoMagic makes it easy to remove or change this punctuation in case I really needed something different. This sentence should read, I don't know if it is nice. The word it is repeated, Automagic offers as its first choice to place a comma in front of this second it. If I press 2, that would insert a dash, which is what I really need here. And if I press 3, that would delete the extra it. At the end of a paragraph, automatic choices include some punctuation changes. Of course, you could change the ending punctuation to a period, question mark, or dash from any point in the sentence. But this is one more example of how Automagic is trying to teach new users, and perhaps even experienced users, the shortcuts that make it possible to do these edits with a minimum of steps.
See, so a lot of times Automagic's going to tell you if you need to do it anyway. If it thinks, you know, hey, are you trying to do punctuation? And if it is, it asks you what you want to do. What do you want? A question mark at the end? Yeah, that's what I need. So you could just push 4, or it tells you right there what the speed key is. So the speed key is the easiest thing. So, I mean, you have 4 different ways of doing it. 3 different ways of doing it. You can just push the number and it's going to do it. Or it's going to tell you which toolbar, if you have the 1700 little toolbar things, remember?
Yeah.
Where you push the 6 things and you can have, your page is only
4
that
inches,
long
yeah.
and you can have that much of your sentence where you're actually working because you have so many toolbars. Or you can just use the speed key. Okay? Exhilarating. I know.
Tell me more.
Somebody's gonna fail this class.
Hurry. Gonna have to work under.
She's gonna have company.
Hotkeys, pop-ups, and fonts are a few Automagic display options that are found in the View Toggles dialog. Let's see. At the right edge of the info bar, Automagic can show these speed keys or hyperkeys that are available as keyboard shortcuts. This can help new users to learn the keyboard shortcuts for editing efficiency, but more experienced users may want to hide them. This can be done by going to the View Toggles dialog and unchecking the box that appears next to hotkeys. Your Automagic choices can also be displayed in a small pop-up window that can appear after a short delay. The delay is expressed in milliseconds, and the default setting is half a second. So as I move my cursor, the choices offered by Automagic.
This feature is actually pretty cool. I wouldn't suggest you do it right now. Okay? Once you start getting the hang of it, then I would. I mean, but it puts it right here. So you're always seeing this little pop-up, and it kind of, when you first start using it, it kind of freaks you out. So it kind of gives you the same things as you're getting right here. But it gives it to you right here, so you don't have to move your eyes. You know, you don't have to always keep moving your eyes. Is that, it's actually pretty cool, okay? So, but, you know, if you notice, it doesn't give you the speed keys, it doesn't give you all of that stuff. It just gives you, like, the quick little thing. All right?
Are brought closer to where I'm looking. In fact, you can hide the info bar entirely and still see your Automagic choices only in a pop-up. To do this, go to the View Toggles dialog and uncheck the box next to Info Bar, but leave the choices next to Automagic and Pop-up checked. That frees up some space on the screen without depriving you of your Automagic choices. Don't forget that you can adjust the font that's used to display your Automagic choices. For instance, you could use a smaller font that's narrow and bold. The Automagic choices would still be very readable, but now the info bar would not need to be as wide. So you could use the mouse to hover over the right edge of the info bar, then hold down the left mouse button while you drag to the left. That could free up some display space for other elements on your screen.
Not that big of a deal.
So what would your recommendation be instead, like to set it up, have the bar on the left or have the pop-up or both, or how would you?
I'd have the bar on the left.
And not the thing popping up all the time?
Not now. Not now. Once you get used to it, once you start really getting fast at using, then maybe, yeah.
That have that instead of the bar?
Well, it has both of them. It has both of them. I'd leave them both, because I think the little pop-up doesn't really give you the speed keys. So unless you get super duper good with it, I don't know that I'd ever. And I still have mine. I still use my Automagic just in case. So there's a little your turn deal for the punctuation. Not that big of a deal. Not going to spend a whole lot of time with it. I'd go back and do it when you have time. Okay, mess around with that. Guys, you can do all kinds of stuff in there. You don't have to do the stuff that we just went over. You can do anything. Delete words, add endings, all of that stuff. One thing I will say, and I had a student ask me about this today. Guys, don't be scared to use the insert button. Don't be scared to insert stuff. And I know that I told you, be careful about using it all the time, because the software isn't learning anything from what you're doing when you use the insert. But sometimes you have to use the insert. And it's okay to use it. It's okay. You know, and especially if you don't know, don't sit there and it's like, well, I mean, what's that thing? And you're going through 600 papers trying to find the notes that you found on the one thing about how to put a dash in there. Really? No. Go in there, do it, write it down on a piece of paper. Hey, sir, how do we do the dashes thing? Oh, you just do that and put the hyphen. Oh, yeah, that's right. You don't have to spend a whole lot of time on it, okay? Don't get frustrated with the software. The more you use it, the more it's going to help you. Okay? So you have to use this stuff. Don't be scared to use it. Use it, and especially in these things, because all you have to do is put it back in. You know, reinstall it. That's all you have to do. So don't be scared to go in there and do stuff, even if it's not asking for that. Okay? Any questions about punctuation? Good. Moving right along. This will be interesting.
We're doing block.
Let's look at some of the functions that Total Eclipse makes available once you've marked a block of text. I'll press F7 or Hyperkey M several times to mark this phrase. If I now press the comma key, the phrase is surrounded by commas. I can mark and press the opening or closing parenthesis to place the phrase within parentheses. Mark and press the opening or closing bracket to bracket this phrase. Mark and press the quote key to surround with quotes. And mark and surround with single quotes by pressing the apostrophe key. If I mark...
Just see that? Very cool feature. Very good. Okay? I'd probably write some notes on that one. Okay? You can do a lot of stuff with that. You can even do the hyphens. You know, like it's Jack in the Box, or... No, that's not a good one. Well, actually, you could. You could do Jack in the Box, and you put the little squiggly line, the little tilde, a little tilde. And the tilde knows to put it together, so to keep it together. So you can mark it and do Shift, tilde, puts the tilde in there. It doesn't show the tilde whenever you print it, but it knows it's not going to have Jack. It's not going to have Jack in the box. It's going to have Jack in the Box altogether. You don't want, you know, places like that, stores, stuff like that, where you have your honor. No, it's always together. Okay? So you can even do that when you mark it. Okay?
How do you do the tilde one? Because I'm just following along. I don't see that as an option here. It says quotes, dashes, parentheses, hyphenate, comma, single quote, and brackets.
Let's see if it'll do it. I don't know if it'll do it because it's not in a marked file. I mean, in a marked thing. So let me see if it'll do it.
I think it worked.
Yes. Okay.
What did you push?
Hey, lady, take it
Oh.
easy. All right.
Sorry.
Pay attention, okay? She just asked, well, what does that do? What does the tilde do? Okay, so say you need, say the name of the store was called Marked Area, okay? Well, you need these two words together, okay? So you're right here on marked. So how do you mark it?
Mark M.
MM. So you want to mark these two words together. Do that. So mark them because you want them together. And then do shift tilde, which is way up here in the corner. You know what the tilde is? It's that
Yeah,
little
squiggly.
Little squiggly. So do shift tilde and see what it does.
Okay.
Tilde's the little thing. It's on the left-hand side up here. On this side, on your keyboard. You see it? So it has a little tilde and then it has like a little,
It's right above the tab.
yeah, right above tab. So do the shift tilde and see how it puts those words together?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
All right. That's awesome.
Yes. No. So it's actually pretty cool because if you have like a thing like of course, I mean you could put it on of, comma, and it puts it behind and then go to the word in front of course and then put it, or just mark it, comma, boom, boom, right there. And it already does it for you. Got that? Or if it says, to your knowledge, or as to your knowledge, you know, and people always say crazy stuff. So now it's like 4 words, as to your knowledge, and you know, it's this long or whatever, and you're like, oh, I need to put a comma here, and then come down here. Just mark it, comma, boom, you're done. Go on. Okay? So you can actually stitch words too. So this means stitch. So like when they say, Mr. Smith, can you spell your name? S-M-I-T-H. That's what it's doing, okay? Usually when they spell it, it's all caps, whatever, but I mean, let's just say, you know, you need it here, so you can mark it, and then push the hyphen, and it does it. So you don't even have to, let's just say he spelled it out, and it came out, you know, like, it came out like this. Let's say he needed to spell it out, and for some reason you just did it like that, and it came out all small letters. It's like, oh my God, I've got to go in there, I have to cap the whole thing. No, you don't. Mark it, hyphen, caps it, stitches it, ready to go. So pick a word, mark it, and then just push hyphen. Did it do it?
Yes. Yes.
And then just push Z. Takes it back. Got it?
Yes.
Pretty cool.
Yes.
So you can also do it with periods. Get on a word, mark it, push period, and it should do that. Did it?
Yep. Sure do.
And then just push Z. Takes it back.
Doing that over the weekend, and I'm like, why the hell is it doing that?
What were you wanting it to do?
I don't know, remember now, but I remember I was trying to correct something and I would hit the P and it would put dot, you know, the periods. And I'm like, why the f is it doing that?
Well, there you go. Any other questions? Yeah, it's pretty cool. So you don't have to waste your time going in there and having to, you know, do all of that stuff. Now, you know, there's also ways of marking, and F6 is cap. Okay, so if you hit it once, you can mark it and it'll cap the D. Well, you can do that anyway. How do you do that in hyperkeys? A. But if you do it again, F6, see how I did it? And if you do it again, it takes it back. So it'll keep toggling until you get the one that you want. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Oh, cool.
You can also do it with A. So if you don't remember that F6 is capitalized, you can also do it with your A in hyperkeys, which is cap. And just keep hitting A till you get the one that you want. Got it?
Yep.
Your turn. So, you know, they come here and they say, well, how do you spell your name? It's Broad. B-R-A-U-D. But he says it first. He doesn't say B-R-A-U-D, B-R-A-U-D. He said Broad. B-R-A-U-D. So mark it. Hyphen.
Sweet.
That's all you do. So have I taught you guys how to put the possessive? Yeah, I think I have. I haven't? Okay. It's all day. All day will make it possessive. So even if it's Broad's, you know, hey, it was Broad's grocery store. Why do you spell it? Broad's. Okay? You just put all day and see how it does it? So it doesn't matter what it is. It can be, you know, somebody's name. It can be, you know, a contraction. It can be anything. Okay? All day. I'd write that one down.
Do I need to do a jury charge test at 100?
Can you turn that off just a second?